Yeah, I'm trying to tell you about this bullshit police report. Basically, I got tased 21 times in '05. I died, came back to life. That's what my Illuminati song is about. You can look up Illuminati song by Blue, and then the reason I made the Illuminati song, I explain a little bit more in depth. But this gonna go a little bit more in detail. Basically, I thought it was a setup. My partner got pulled out the car. He didn't have no driver's license or ID or social security number. Didn't know it. Usually they take him to jail to fingerprint him. But they let this nigga go. They let him drive off. No driver's license, no nothing. I ain't seen him give him no citation. But Officer Pineda, while on Griggs, observed a white Ford Taurus, stopped and observed a female who was sitting in the front passenger seat, jumped out of the vehicle, waving her hands above her head. So she basically jumped out of the car in front of the laws. I felt like that was to give them probable cause to pull us over. But what happened was she did that. They pulled us over. They let them go. I'm in the back seat. I had 4 warrants. I told them. They said they'll let me go if that's all I had. I'm in the back seat for 30, 40 minutes. I'm like, what y'all gonna do? Let me go or take me downtown? Cause I saw the warrants pop up. And they said if that's all I had, they'll let me go. Nigga gonna tell me, shut up before I tase you in the back seat. So I wasn't tripping. I wouldn't start tripping till I heard them say execute him and dump him off on the walkie-talkie. I started trying to get somebody's attention. That's when they told the cop that I was in his car, told the other cop to release me. I get out the car. They take one handcuff off me. He get out the car with his taser already out. Um, I was just gonna ask, why you get out the car with your taser already out. The other one threw my head into the back of the cop car. I started taking off running. That's when they started tasing me. I'm gonna read you this lying police report. How they lied, fabricated it. But I fell 7 times total. I remember. The fourth time I fell, dude got his hand all the way under my neck in full-fledged chokehold. I kind of gave up. The other cop kept tasing me, and I heard the dude that Pineda, who had me in the chokehold, say, "I got him now." So some say, "Now, nigga, they trying to kill you." So I got him up off me. I scraped my head against the concrete. Can't see it no more. This was in '05. Scraped my head against the concrete to get out the chokehold. The other one stopped tasing me, kneed his knee into my neck. My face scraped the ground. I got up. I was able to run a little bit. They kept tasing me. I fell 3 more times. Um, 7th time I fell, I couldn't get up. My body started to freeze up. My muscles froze. Everything went dark. My heart started beating fast. I just started praying. I knew I was dying, but I'm going to read you their version. Sitting in the front passenger seat, jumped out of the vehicle with her hands above her head. She was later identified as witness 2 Owens Nicole. Officer observed that a male was driving the vehicle and another male was sitting in the back seat behind the front passenger. Officer observed the driver, who was later identified as Raymond Williams, who did not have a Texas driver license or a Texas ID. Officer Pineda also observed the black passenger, who was identified as suspect number 1, Christopher Me, did not have any ID. Officer Pineda observed the suspect, Christopher, appeared to be under an unknown substance because of his bloodshot eyes and his blank stare. Officer Pineda, before speaking to the female, secured the driver in his patrol vehicle because he did not have any ID. Officer Pineda asked for a backup unit, and Officer Moreno, assigned to Unit 13D11D, arrived and assisted Officer Pineda in securing suspect number 1, Christopher. He got my last name, but I ain't saying it. In the back of Officer Moreno's patrol vehicle in handcuffs. They lying. I was in back of Pineda's patrol vehicle in handcuffs. Officer Pineda, after securing the scene and making it safe, spoke with witness number 2, Owens Nicole, who advised the officer everything was okay. She had jumped out of the vehicle because of the bee that was in the car. Officer Pineda spoke with witness number 1, Raymond Williams, who also stated a bee had entered the vehicle and that his girlfriend was scared and she jumped out of the vehicle. Officer Penalty ran the driver and he came back clear but did not have a text, did not show any Texas driver's license. Officer Moreno was able to get a date of birth from the suspect number 1, Christopher Me. Officer Moreno ran the name and it showed to come back ID number 16, well, whatever, which showed to have 4 warrants out of the city of Houston. Officer observed the suspect was starting to get very edgy and would not sit still in the back seat. Officer Penalty, while waiting to confirm the warrants, released the female and the male driver with citations. Now, they just said that I had the warrants. Now they say we're waiting to confirm the warrants. If they popped up, what is there to confirm? Anyway, the 2 left the scene. Officer observed the suspect had attempted, they saying the 2, my partner and his gal left the scene. Officer observed the suspect, Me, attempted to place his cuffed arms in front of his body while in the back seat of the patrol vehicle. Officers observed he was able to put one leg through arms which were handcuffs. Officer pulled the suspect out and behind his back the suspect then pushed the officers off and attempted to evade, but officers grabbed the suspect and took him to the ground. Officers, while on top of the suspect, were telling him to place his arm behind his back, but he refused to obey. Officers, while forcing him to put his arms behind his back, lost suspect as he got lost through he had. Officers, while forcing him to put his arms behind his back, lost his arms because of the sweat. The suspect came up on his knees, got up even though he had weight of both officers on him. Officers pushed away from the suspect and ordered him to get back on the ground, but he refused, so Officer Moreno discharged the taser, striking the suspect at the unknown location. Officer Moreno observed the suspect fell to the ground after the first 5 seconds, got back up, and officers observed that the suspect rolled and pulled the wires loose. Officer Penalty observed that the suspect was not compliant, so he discharged his taser at the suspect. Officers observed the suspect fell to the ground but got up. Again, while standing, officers discharged the taser again, and the suspect spun while standing up and pulled the darts out and started running east on Griggs. Officer Moreno reloaded the taser with his spare cartridge and ran after the suspect, and when he stopped and turned, officer discharged the other taser, but the suspect moved and the officer missed. Now, if I stopped and turned, why would they shoot me with a taser again? They lying. Never stopped running after they tased me. Just go back to the beginning when I told you what really happened. Officer jumped on the suspect to attempt to handcuff him again, but he still would not allow officers to get him handcuffed, nor would he obey the verbal commands. Officers got off the suspect and dry stung the suspect numerous amounts of times because he kept getting up. Officers would dry sting the suspect and he would go down to the ground, and officers would pull the taser darts off him and tell him to stay down, but he refused to obey verbal commands. Not once did they take any tasers out of me. They lying. Officer Moreno observed that he had grabbed loose handcuffs with his left hand as a possible weapon. That's why they took the handcuffs off me in the first place, talking about releasing to make it look like I was resisting, but they already had me in the backseat handcuffed, but they took one handcuff off me to start tasing my ass. Officer observed ambulance 35 arrived and transported the suspect to Bental Hospital. 14D01D arrived and secured the scene and observed the suspect was still acting up, so Officer Quintana Unit 13D 1-5 rode with the suspect in the ambulance. Officer Moreno spoke to ADA Kotler, who accepted charges of resisting arrest. Officer received the hold from Sergeant Douches out of homicide. Out of homicide. Note, Officer Penalty sustained several cuts and bruises on his hands and arms. Officer Penalty also hurt his right hand and left elbow, which will require medical attention. Officer Moreno sustained skinned knees and left elbow. Moreno skinned his right wrist. Now, I was just lying. And I also got tased 2010 12 times by 4 different cops, and they charged me with assault on a police officer. I was just protecting myself. But I died this time. I think I died that time too. But I didn't wake up in ICU with no piss bag, tubes down my throat, tubes down my nose, and IV like this time. And again, number of shots 8, number of shots 13. I don't got the paper that say I got tased 5 seconds each time they tased me, but I lost that paper. I don't know, I had this separate. But yeah, that's what my song, the Illuminati song by Blue is about. And I got a theory on why, all this happened. I got another video on YouTube floating around, just in case something do happen to a nigga that's proof. You know what I'm saying, with proof behind it. But yeah, check out the Illuminati song by Blue, that's what this is about. But check out my page, subscribe to me, I got some real music, you know what I'm saying? One monkey don't stop no show, and what don't kill you make you stronger. But I got God on my side, so I ain't tripping. Alright.